Good evening, Reds. Good afternoon, Reds, should I say. I always manage somehow to get that wrong, and I don't know why. I always say the wrong time, or I'm in the wrong time zone. Maybe because I'm a bit of a night owl or something. Who knows? Yeah, welcome to the pre-match build-up for Manchester United versus Fiorentina. We are back in action today against a team who we don't have much history with, I wouldn't say, but you know, there's history with a certain individual player coming back, so I'm excited to see David De Gea hopefully get a warm reception and a warm welcome. I know United are doing a couple of things kind of setting up for him because he never really got that official kind of goodbye, then it was a bit messy the way David De Gea left the club, so happy for him to come back. Of course, you've got the Sesko unveiling as well. Benjamin Sesko is going to be unveiled at Old Trafford, similar to how Casemiro and Varane and Rasmus Højlund was. Hopefully it doesn't turn out to be the player that Rasmus Højlund was, because that's turned out to be a disaster, and we also paid 70 million quid for him, so fingers crossed that won't happen. I'm pretty positive it won't. He's got much more of a reputation, Sesko, in Europe, and we'll get into him as a player, what he'll offer, and how he kind of fits into the system. But obviously he can't start today because he's only just signed his contract and done his medical and everything. I mean, he probably could play. He's fit enough. I mean, he's been training during pre-season, so he's definitely ready to go, but obviously it's a little bit too soon with this game, so it looks like potentially on the bench. I mean, he might even start against Arsenal, I don't know. It kind of depends how Amorim assesses him in you know, kind of the weeks or the days leading up to that story, because the Premier League kicks off in, is it a week? A week's time, Premier League football is back. Praise the fucking Lord, thank God. Missed it so much. So yeah, let's dive into the team. Big up everyone in the chat. Leave a like on the video for us. And yeah, let's go through it together. So we've got Altay Bayındır in net. We have Lenny Yoro starting. Once again, that is his position on the right-handed side. We'll speak about him. Harry Maguire is the central centre-back. We then have Aiden Heaven starting on the left-hand side, which I want to discuss that left side is centre-half and where you lot see his future. Not his future, but the future of that position. Who do you think should permanently lock that down? Because we have 3 or 4 options who could play there, all different in their own right as well. As we move towards the wing-backs, Amad Diallo at right wing-back again. Again, that's someone who is going to have that position nailed on, in my opinion. Obviously, they'll switch at times. They'll switch in-game, and he'll play as a 10 as well. But I think with Mbeumo spending that much money on him, £70 million, you're going to play Amad and Mbeumo as much as you can on that right-hand side, which I really like the scope for flexibility in that position, and there's many tactical things that you can discuss with that. In the middle of the park is where absolutely every man, Tom, Dick, Harry, is looking to kind of reinforce, and this Carlos Baleba stuff just keeps going on, doesn't it? You've seen Andy Mitten reporting before that his agent's willing to drop a commission fee just to get in the move, and apparently Carlos Baleba is really, really excited by it as well. Let me read out the actual thing because I put it in the chat before. So, Carlos Baleba's agent does not mind reducing his commission to complete a move to Manchester United. United could offer Brighton players they might be interested in. Baleba has a strong desire to join Manchester United. That's from Andy Mitten. So yeah, it's pretty concrete information. There is a genuine interest there. If they get that deal over the line, that's going to be huge for our midfield, because you look at the midfield that's starting today, as you can see on your screen, Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes as a pairing doesn't work at all. Casemiro hasn't got the legs. Bruno isn't combative enough off the ball. You look at all the qualities that Baleba brings, and the intensity, how quick he is, how strong he is. I mean, I was listening to an interview that Amadou Onana did with Culture Cams and Harry Pinero, when he was talking about like this kid who just came into first team training, one of his first sessions, and was just bodying players left, right and centre. It's just this freak athlete in the midfield, and I think because there's only technically two 8-6s, whatever you want to call them, in the middle of the park, the amount of grass that they've got to cover, the wide channels, and you know what I mean? Like, you need someone hugely athletic there. Not only that, someone who is a great progressor of the ball and a great ball carrier as well. And I think Baleba fits all of those kind of criteria. So, super important for that. But it's Casemiro and Bruno today. Dorgu is your left wing back. A lot of people, when we did the big season preview yesterday, which you lot should go check out, by the way, if you get a spare hour, at some point over the weekend, because I thought that was a really good show, just kind of going through top 4 and top goal scorer and stuff. But when we were speaking about that, someone mentioned Dorgu being they was most excited, and I forgot who it was, so apologies. But they mentioned Dorgu, and it kind of forgot, like, he had a really, really good pre-season, Dorgu, didn't he? And not only that, it's kind of the tail end towards, I would say the back of last season, I thought him and Euro were the better players. Even though the final was shit, let's just call a spade a spade. Them two were the ones who were kind of standing out and looked like they were starting to build something. So Patrick Dorgu, to bring him in from Lecce for 20 million quid, and you're seeing his development now, he's another one who's a bit of a freak athlete. It reminds me a little bit of like a Nuno Mendes. Dorgu. Now he's got a bit of way to go. He's still rough, but he's starting to find the final third a little bit more, scoring, getting assists in preseason. So really excited to see how he develops, and that could be another steal. Bear with me just whilst I have some. It's still piping up. I got that about 15 minutes ago, and it's still piping up. It's not a bad thing, because at least it's not cold. It could be worse. And then we have Mbeumo, Cunha, and Mason Mount. Again, a fluid front three. You would think Mount, I actually prefer Mason Mount when he starts in one of those inside 10 positions on the left-hand side, and I'll tell you why, again, when I go through the proper analysis. Cunha, again, I prefer him on the left-hand side. I think when Sesko comes in, he'll drift out there. I think he'll be the rotation with Mount. I think Mbeumo and Amanda would be the rotation in that 10 position, as well as Bruno Fernandes. And then Sesko, Xerxes, and if Rasmus is still there, will be the rotation for the front line. But yeah, interesting to see how that goes on. I don't like Cunha more as like this kind of fluid 9. Mbeumo will obviously shift in there as well. I want a proper out-and-out, like a big boy like Sesko, 6'5", quick, strong, will occupy the centre-backs, which naturally then, if he's kind of making those runs in behind, which we've spoken about before, the likes of Mount and Mbeumo, Cunha will all pick up those pockets of space and do damage. Same thing with Bruno Fernandes as well, which is why it's important to have someone sweeping up behind him, ready for that counter press, like someone like Carlos Baliba, for example. So that is the team. I'll go into more detail shortly. But yeah, before we do that, let's get into the comment section. What are we all saying, ladies and gentlemen? 67 live viewers as we talk right now. So nice to have so many of you in here, by the way. So let's see what you lot are saying, people. Big up Nick. Thank you very much, Steph. Big up yourself. Always tuning into the shows. Really, really appreciate you. That's me saying that to you. That's not Steph saying it. My damn United morning, Nick. Listening whilst at work, but a quick hi and all the best to you guys and all the Real Red Ultras. Let me know where you're working, my damned. Well, don't tell me. You don't have to tell me specific. But if you're working on a weekend, is it something to do with leisure? Is it something to do with construction? All right, talk to me. Shreays in the chat as well. Happy to see Mount in the team. Mount is going to have a massive season if he stays fit. There's always that kind of asterisk next to his name. You can say the same thing for Luke Shaw. When Luke Shaw is fit, firing, and ready to go, Amrin said it is a world-class player. He's top of his game, but he needs to be fit and ready. I think initially when he came back from his injury, he didn't look at it, did it, at all? He looked like off a few yards, like Malacia did when he came back. Seems like he's building up his fitness at the minute, so we'll have to assess that. But I remember even last season, the Bournemouth game where he gave it away, was making mistakes, just looked a little bit, it just looked a little bit destroyed of confidence. So we'll kind of assess that with Luke Shaw. Loving that mitten stuff. Come on, let's do it. Baliba could be our Kante. That's what Bruno needs. Absolutely. Baliba and De Gea. 71 watching, likes are free too. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Please do like the video, subscribe. Check us out on socials as well. Real Reds Talk, TikTok, Instagram, and TikTok and Twitter. Sorry, they are all popping off at the minute. I refuse to call it X. It isn't X. It's Twitter. It just doesn't sound right. Gala Elias says they never want to give Kone any chances and keep Mount on for what? Mason Mount is a different player to Kone. Sekou Kone is more of an out-and-out midfielder. And he's a young kid who hasn't got any Premier League experience. Mason Mount is much more valuable higher up in one of those attacking midfield positions because he's done it for Chelsea. And he's much more experienced than someone like Sekou Kone, so you can't really, in my opinion, compare him. That midfield pivot makes me sick. I agree, Random Yap. Absolutely agree with that. I'm an old school poster these days, Nick. At least you're getting your steps in, my damned. I bet you do about 15k steps a day, minimum, as a postman. Either that or, I don't know if you use like an e-bike or something. That seems to be like the modern thing nowadays, doesn't it? I will pull up Ruben Amorim's quotes, anything to do with David De Gea, anything to do with Benjamin Sesko, because he is getting unveiled at Old Trafford today. So anything to do with that, I will stay right on top of it. But I just want to go into more detail with the team. I always go from back to front, so goalkeeper to striker. Starting with the goalkeeper, look, this is another ongoing conversation. It's just like the midfield. I always get asked the question, would you rather go for a goalkeeper or a midfielder? And basically, to me, it's if you're going on holiday, it's like someone saying, would you want to take your boxers or underpants, if there's any dodgy people in the chat? Do you want to take your boxers or your socks? on holiday. And I'm like, well, I want to take both. It's like, but you can't. You haven't got the budget. You either take your ankle socks and your other socks or whatever, or you take your briefs, boxers, undies, whatever the fuck you wear, whatever you choose to wear. You might wear a thong, who knows? You take your pick out of them because you're traveling to Turkey and you're going to be walking about in barefoot, or you're going commando. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think both of them are problems. I would rather fill both. Whether they'll do it or not, I probably will at this point, because we're all sat here thinking, do you know what? We've bought Sesko, we've bought Mbumo, we've bought Cunha, that's the window done and dusted. But it's not, because they're going on about pushing for this Belieber deal. Belieber's going to cost about probably 80 to 90 if we manage to get it for that. Probably 100 pushing. So that's an expensive window. We've already spent £180 million. If we get Belieber on top of that, that would be, probably call it 270s, just for hypotheticals. £270 million you're talking about, with no Champions League football. And they've finished 15th last season. And we're still attracting players like that. So the goalkeeper, for me, it just seems so far and beyond the imagination that we can go and do it. I just really cannot see it happening. But if it does, I think there's an opportunity on the market right now, which doesn't always come up. You have one of the, if not the best goalkeeper in the world, who's available for 30 million quid in Donnarumma at PSG. They just bought Lucas Chevalier, who's supposed to be the next best thing in France, and he's available. He's got 1 year left on his deal. PSG want to cash in. Maybe United wait until the end of the window and just see, because it doesn't seem like anyone's going in for him. Maybe they wait until the end of the window and they just go, we'll give you 20 million. I'd say 20 quid then. I was like, I'm not going to accept that. But they say, if you don't want to, if you want to make some money, we're here, we'll pay 20 and we'll do it. Maybe that's something they're waiting for, because I think that's what something Chelsea are doing with Garnacho. I think Chelsea are waiting to the end of the window, and they know that Ruben Amorim doesn't necessarily want to integrate him back into the team. So maybe the off chance at the end of the window, they'll be like, yeah, do you know what, we'll take 40. Or we'll take 40 with 5 in add-ons, and they'll save themselves 5-10 million quid. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think the goalkeeper situation is fascinating. And speaking of goalkeepers, David De Gea is back at Old Trafford this evening, whatever you call it. He's back at Old Trafford. United have set a couple of things up for him. There's going to be like a warm reception. I think Bruno Fernandes is doing something with him as well. And I think it's quite funny, innit, on reflection now. And I want to ask you a lot of these questions and answer it truthfully as well. Truthfully, okay? Is David De Gea still better than all our three strikers? Fucking hell, I can't speak today. All our three goalkeepers right now. So if there was a world where you could just go, boom, snap your fingers, bring them right back in, would you bring David De Gea back over Onana, Heaton, and Altay? I'd do it just because Altay's beard, mate. Like, it's absolutely horrendous, isn't it? But I think it's a genuine question, isn't it? It's just genuine. You can sit there and go, you probably would. Now, I know David De Gea made quite a few mistakes when he was at United. I appreciate that. I get it. I understand it. I know he did. There were situations, Sevilla was really bad where he tries trapping the ball, and he made a couple of mistakes in that game alone as well. You had the one against West Ham, Ben Rama, which is really, I mean, that's like Onana level bad. Do you remember Gibbs White when he scored for Forest last season against Onana, and it was like in the centre of the goal, and it still somehow went in? Like, it was that level of bad, the Ben Rama one. I think both equally then was as bad as each other. So that was absolutely shocking. But even still, it's apples and oranges, really, when you compare the amount of mistakes. For anyone who saw the video that I did on Andre Onana, like I think it was 17 individual mistakes he had made. Now, this is throughout the Champions League campaign, the Premier League campaign, like all competitions. 17 individual mistakes that led to goals from a goalkeeper. David De Gea never made that amount of mistakes, ever. Probably in his whole entire fucking United career, he made that amount of mistakes. Onana's done that in like 2 seasons. In 1 season, sorry, he did it. And I'm not even mentioning the one before that. So, yeah, for me, it just doesn't fill me with confidence. If you're going into a Premier League season, he was talking about this on the overlap before, every successful team needs a fantastic, commanding goalkeeper. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Liverpool with Alisson, you know? PSG just won the Champions League. Who did they have in net? Donnarumma, big, imposing goalkeeper who's got personality as well, but is also top class. when it comes to diving and distribution and everything you need from a goalkeeper, commanding the presence of his box. Onana doesn't fill you with that. And as fans, if we all sit there and we watch it from afar and we say he just makes us nervous, then he makes the players nervous as well, automatically. Because they're worried, if I get this away in this certain area. Even Altai, I remember the game against Newcastle, where he tried just playing it into Højlund. He gave it straight to Joe Linton and they get a turnover and score. They score a corner against Altai as well. In the last game of the season, he doesn't pick it up. He just kind of leaves it there. And Morgan Rogers pinches it and they score. And we was lucky to get away with it. Like, both of them are just really riddled with, it seems like, this anxiety on the pitch and nerves and just do not fill you with confidence at all. At all. So I really genuinely want to change that. I want to change the goalkeeper. If Donnarumma's available, if we have to break the bank, if we have to do something ridiculous, fucking do it. Just do it. Because I'm telling you now, with the players that we've just got in, with Sesko and Mbeumo and Cunha, if you get Carlos Baliba behind them, and then you get Donnarumma in net, lads, that is going to be a problem for any team. A problem. You're already hearing all the noise coming out of the camps talking about, the level of difference in this preseason. And sometimes you hear that. Sometimes it sounds a bit PR-y to kind of be like, oh, everyone's in a good mood now. Everything's great. And I get it. No more stragglers. And that can blind you sometimes. But then with the new Carrington, with the players that we've bought, you know what it is? It's dragging me back in. And I'm sure it's dragging everybody else back in as well behind the camera. The people thinking, I don't want to because we've been hurt before. It's like the girlfriend saying, oh, I've changed now. It's different. It's different. And you're like, is it though? You've bought yourself a new dress. You've got some new jewellery on. You've been to the gym. Is it going to be different? Or are you still going to slap? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of them. So it's hard to trust this team. It really, really is. But I'm doing it. I'm going in. They bought Sesko, who's a striker I absolutely love. I think he's got the ceiling to be one of the best strikers in Europe. And then also, with the other purchases that they've done, Cunha is going to be super important to how we play. Mbeumo's 27 goal involvements last season. Carlos Baliba, in my opinion, is the next best midfielder in the Premier League. He's got absolutely everything. And then Donnarumma's a world-class goalkeeper. So if they do that, mate, strap in and get ready to go. I still think we'll concede goals. But again, we've not got Champions League football. We've just got a straight run at the Premier League, 38 games, obviously with the odd cup games involved, and we can go at it. Now, there is 123 people live in the chat right now, 119, couple just dropped out. Leave a like in the video for us, subscribe to the channel. We are currently on, ladies and gentlemen, 22,721 subscribers. If you could please help us hit 25k whilst you're live, takes 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button. Would really appreciate that. Also, check out our socials. They are going off at the minute. The interactions, 2 million interactions on Instagram, I think, pushing towards 10k on there. TikTok's very close to 30,000 now. Some of the clips getting 200,000 views, like just absolutely crazy. So, yeah, the channel's popping off at the minute, and that's because of you guys, and I really appreciate, genuinely, every single one of you. So, thank you very much. Let's get back into the comments, and then I'll go through the defence more in detail. Srinath, sorry, I really can't say your name. Srinath Chandrasekhar says, replace the keeper with Lamont and Cass with Baliba, Mount with Sesko. That's the first team. I don't get where the hate's coming from Mount. I really like Mount in those inside 10 positions. Imstuber says, why is he put unhappy up front instead of Højlund? Why is he playing Maguire? Well, obviously there is almost a telling in that, innit? If you're not starting Rasmus up top, you're hearing that United have had the hierarchy, and Ruben Amorim had a conversation with Rasmus Højlund, and they probably said to him, you ain't going to get a lot of first-team football. We've brought in Sesko now. He's the main man. If you want to go out on loan and get some football, we understand. We've got suitors in Italy who are interested, like AC Milan, for example, are really interested. I think they want to pay like a £4 million loan fee, cover his wages. And then I think the way United are looking at it, because I was like, I don't really understand why they would send him out on loan. It didn't really make sense to me. But then I was like, well, you're almost putting him in a shop window, because if you send him to Italy, he has a good season, he starts scoring again, gets his confidence back, you're likely to get more of a fee for him. Although if it is with specifically Milan, there's an option to buy there, they might trigger the 35 million if they've done well for him, you know? So, yeah, it's about perspective, I suppose. But again, I still think we are a little bit light. I know Cunha and Mbeumo can play there, but I would rather have out and out. I mean, even Xerxes is not a proper 9, is he? You know what I mean? So I would rather have like 2 out-and-out strikers in the team, even if we're only playing 50 games this season, let's say. Commando is liberating, Nick. I believe you, Steph. I believe you. Maybe I should have picked something else. Yeah, if you're on holiday, maybe people go Commando anyway. I don't know. Let's hope we can sell the unwanted. They must know our brand new front 3. Everyone's saying they brought De Gea back. De Gea as a shot stopper is levels above Onana. That's from Shreays. Heaven should not be starting, at least Majorari or Shaw. But he's a young kid, isn't he? He's a young kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, give him a bit of time. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to be raw. His first touch is going to be off at times. He just needs to build. He's definitely got the qualities to be a long-term centre-back. Like, he's got the height, he's got the strength, he's got the pace, and he's not bad on the ball. He's decent. It's just, he's young, you know? Don't forget the kid's fucking 18, 19 years old. He's playing in the Premier League as a centre-back. So, just patience and time, I would say. Make a Donna reality, just not just a Donnarumma. Very nice. I like that. I love Mount, just needing to be fit. Donnarumma is open to the move according to rumours. That's from Thomas Euro. And Mr. Mayogi saying Mount would play better as a centre mid, in my opinion. I disagree. But I like Mason Mount. So, let's get into the defence. Now, Lenny Yoro, no surprise to anyone, starting at the right-sided centre-half. That is forever and always his position to me, as long as he wants it. If he's performing at the level that he is at the minute, Lenny Yoro, I really love how competent he is defending 1v1 first and foremost. How good he is at defending wide channels. How good he is on the ball as well. Not only can he play with it, so those little triangles that you're going to see forming on the right-hand side now, where we usually get the advantages, numerical advantages, I'd say, with Ahmad and Bumo, Yoro, that side. And then on the other side, you've got Cunha, Dorgu, and Shaw. Let's say, for example, or Lissandro, if he comes back into the team. I really like that setup. I think Yoro, long-term, I mean, the sky is the limit. Really, really is. He is a really, really top centre-back. And do you know what are the best qualities about him? Everyone speaks about Lenny Yoro, and they talk about, it might be his pace or his, I don't know, his ability on the ball or reading of the game or whatever it is. They're all top quality assets of his. But in my opinion, his best asset is his composure and how level-headed he is and how he plays like an experienced pro when he's only 19 years old. That is his best quality. Like, even when you speak to him, when you see him in an interview, sometimes players who have just moved to a club or the young, they get a little bit, and which is understandable, the young, they get a little bit edgy, a little bit nervy, a little bit excited. He is just level-headed, and he plays like that in the game. Doesn't overcomplicate things, doesn't get overexcited. I mean, he had one game last season against Slimani at Southampton where people are like, ooh, okay, that's a bit of a worry. But then ever since then, he was like the Michael Jordan documentary where he went, you know what, since then, I took things personal. And he's just gone on leaps and bounds. So I think he's a phenomenal talent. I can't wait to see how he develops. If this is him right now, wait 3-4 years' time when he's earned his stripes in the Premier League, mate, I'm telling you, he's going to be some player in. So I'm interested to see who's going to be kind of the rotation option with him. Maybe sometimes De Ligt is going to shift out there. Maybe Majraoui, obviously being the chameleon that he is, he'll kind of fill in across the back line. So, but that is his position. Make no mistake about that. Lenny Yoro will start as the right-sided centre-half for the majority of games, and he'll start against Arsenal as well, interestingly. Now, Maguire or De Ligt in that central centre-back position, for me right now, I think obviously De Ligt is the future of that position. So growing into that, he's going to be that guy. But Maguire, for me, especially I looked at the last game against Everton, I thought when you're playing a physical opposition, and for example, I think Moise Kean is starting for Fiorentina today. Would that be right? I don't even know if he's still there, actually, because obviously I don't follow Fiorentina, but he's a bit of a physical presence and can cause problems. So Maguire for me would be good. Aerially, he's great. He's got that switcher play as well. I know De Ligt can do it sometimes, but Maguire more frequently because he can step out as that central centre-back. You've got the two centre-backs either side of you to cover the channels if needs be, so he can step forward and play, which is why I like him there. So Maguire being there, not a problem at all. Aiden Heaven, we've already spoken about. Look, he is a little bit young, but we've got three really different options in there for me. And it goes like this in terms of listing them. 155 people in the chat. Legends. Please do like the video whilst you're watching and subscribe to the channel. We are pushing for 25,000, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, please do hit that subscribe button. We're live every single day. Loads of different kind of shows. Look on socials, different things popping off, news updates, clips, funny clips from the show, interesting journalistic pieces. Yeah, the channel is growing and it's getting bigger and bigger and more mega, and that's because of you lot. And I know I repeat myself, but it's true. Now, the left-sided centre-half role, who do we see locking that down on a permanent? And I'll read out the comments as you go through it. Who is better there for you personally? Because you've got 3 options in my book. You've got Lisandro Martinez, who's obviously coming back from a big injury again. That would be his 3rd big injury. Because he got one in the Sevilla game where he went down, kind of abnormally. He got one when Kufal fell on his leg. And then he got one... Who was his injury to last season? Where did he go down? I'll have to look this up. I can't remember what game it was. Where he just got injured. And we was like, oh, is he out again? For fuck's sake. Matches, let's see. His last match was Crystal Palace. Is that when he went off? Yeah, 82nd minute against Crystal Palace. But I can't remember how it happened. Really can't remember how it went up. But anyway, he's obviously had 3 big injuries. So it's almost like if you're going into a season, same thing what happened with Iran. You need consistency at the back. Can we rely on him right now? Because on the ball... no doubt about it, he's the best centre-back on the ball at our club. 100%. He just is. He's one of the best in Europe, I would say. But then the caveat with that is, he's not the biggest. He's not the quickest at defending wide channels. Positionally, he's quite good. Pushing forward with the ball, which is the demand on centre-backs at times, and making that extra number, he's all right at. We saw he scored against Fulham. He almost became that guy, didn't he? He was scoring for us. He was getting assists. You think about the Liverpool goal as well. So he obviously has qualities that we like and we crave in this team. But then you switch it and you think, okay, the more physical profile, Aiden Heaven suits that more because he is quicker, he's stronger, he's taller. That side of it, he can do it. You almost need a blend of that like Lenny Yoro. Luke Shaw, for me, he's good on the ball. He's strong. He's not as quick as he was. But he's more experienced. He's been at United for a decade now. So that's where that comes into it. So there's different elements in each one. And maybe obviously they'll use that for certain games, depending on kind of the opponent that you're playing. But for me, right now, if everyone's fit and firing and at the best, I would personally play Luke Shaw there. Because I think, because he's been a left back as well, if you need to cover on that side, he's more natural to it, whereas Lisandro isn't. Pace-wise, I think Shaw's probably quicker. Lisandro isn't the quickest, so I would go with that. But that, like Shreays said as well, Majari can fill in there. So, yeah. But Leach, I mean, Steph just mentioned it there, like unofficial club captain. He brings that as well as leadership. So, yeah, look, competition is what we want for positions, is it not? So, as long as it's healthy competition there, you've seen what happens when Luke Shaw has competition. Boom. His performances spike. So, yeah, fight for your role. There's not going to be that many games. It's time to step up and see who's ready for it. And Lisandro Martinez should be back, I think, for the 3rd game into the season. So, yeah, it'll be Shaw or Heaven starting, and I imagine it'll probably be Luke Shaw. My throat's dry as fuck. Right, back to the comment section. T2 Diazzo says, Donnarumma seems a no-brainer to me. Spot on. We are the biggest club looking for a goalkeeper. Otherwise, it'll be Saudi for the dollar. Fishbelly, what a name that is, by the way. Incredible. Welcome, Fishbelly, saying, why is PSG letting Donnarumma leave if he's that good? Because he has 1 year left on his contract. He wants to renew it, but he's on quite a lot. And PSG have just bought Lucas Chevalier, who's supposed to be the next biggest thing in France. So they've brought him in. And they want to get money. They don't want him to leave for free next season, which they think he's going to do because he moved for free from Milan to PSG, didn't he? And got like a big fee and stuff like that. So I think that's why they want to get rid of. And listen, there isn't a better keeper on the market right now than Donnarumma. So I would do everything I can for that. Like Thomas Juro said, PSG bought Chevalier, great young keeper. Yeah, but I get the question, like, if he's the best in the world right now, why would you tempt that? Do you just not want to give him a new contract, which will be about, I don't know, £350,000 a week? Maybe it's something to do with that. I'm not entirely sure. Steph saying, I always thought Mount was an Eriksen upgrade when we signed him, but changed my mind. He's probably a long-term Bruno replacement. Thoughts? If he's going to be a long-term Bruno replacement, his output needs to be much more significant. He needs to be available every game, which he just isn't. Bruno Fernandes played 5,000 minutes, I want to say, in Europe last season, alongside Valverde and Diego Dalot. Mount just doesn't have that availability. In terms of profiling, for me, I think Mount's, I don't know, he seems better. Off the ball, pressing-wise, he seems one of the best, just in my opinion. In sharp spaces, him and Bruno are very quick as well, the quick thinkers. Bruno's more creative, he creates more chances. Mount needs to improve on that side of his game. So, in terms of replacement, I don't know, you would more look at maybe a Bruno replacement in midfield, because everyone's going on about where's Kobbie Mainoo going to play and what's he going to do. I think he's going to take over Bruno. Like, people forget Kobbie Mainoo's 20 years old, you know? So, Bruno, I don't know if another offer will come in from Saudi, maybe next season or whatever. But I think they might revise that and they might look at it and think, right, because Kobbie needs to grow somewhere. I don't think he's got that killer instincts and attacking instincts in the final third to be one of those 10s like Mbeumo Cunha. He's not got a pace either to beat a man. Obviously, he's a great ball carrier in that sense, but it's been out and out kind of blistering pace. He doesn't really have that. But then the recovery runs, the athleticism in the middle of the park, he's not necessarily got either. So Kobbie Mainoo is more of like in a 4-3-3 left-sided 8. And we don't play that system. So I don't know what's going to happen with them. I think it's very, very interesting. Everyone new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to Shreays. Nearly 200 viewers, live viewers in the chat. 2,255 in total, which is absolutely incredible. So really nice to see so many of you in there. Appreciate people joining. Wingback, Amad Diallo, ladies and gentlemen. That's another position like Linioro. I think that's going to be absolutely locked down. I always said it last season, whether he plays as a 10 or a wing-back. For me, I prefer him as a wing-back, and there are two reasons for that. So if you look at how we build up as a team, you see Amad Diallo as a left-footed player. This is why there's so much significance on it. The way you receive it, it's hard to explain without kind of like a tactics board behind me or anything. But if you just imagine in your head, the way he receives it as the wing-back, it's like inverted, you know? So the build-up, it comes into him, he plays it into the middle of the park, direct pass into Mbeumo, who's dropped in, let's say, for example, and then Amad finds the space, or the striker runs in behind. Like, there are patterns you will see when you watch Man United, different kind of setups, but Amad dropping in for the build-up is important. The same thing the opposite side, you look at Cunha when he drops in, it's almost the opposite way, I think, with Dorgu pressing forward, and then Cunha will drop in. Like, there are patterns there in Amorim's system, and I think Amad's really important for that, first and foremost, in the build-up. And then not only that, in the attacking kind of final third, arriving as that kind of spare man. Because everyone's so concentrated on, let's say, Sesko in the box and then Mbeumo, and then Amad kind of arrives late. And you've seen him score goals from that against Newcastle. I think he did one in pre-season as well. I can't remember who that was. It might have been Bournemouth or the other game, or Everton. But he arrived kind of late and scored. For me, that's where I really, really like him. But it can be fluid. It can be interchangeable. Him and, Mbeumo was played as like this kind of hard-working wing-back for Thomas Frank before at Brentford. So you can see them both. You can see Mbeumo drifting out wide, Amad drifting centrally. That's going to cause problems for a lot of teams. And when you think about United's right side of the attack, how one-dimensional we've been at times. You think back to the days when we have Paul Pogba and Rashford and Luke Shaw. Everyone was worried about that side. But in actual fact, if you lock that side down, it was kind of, we couldn't really do it. We had Dan James and Wan-Bissaka on the right, and people are like, yeah, we're not really asked about them. Like, yeah, he's a bit pacey, but he's not going to do much damage. So, yeah, giving problems across the pitch is super important, and Amad and Mbeumo will do that. I don't want to speak about the midfield too much. It seems like Bruno Fernandes is going to play as the 8 a lot this season, which I'm not a massive fan of, because I think in Bruno's natural instinct, for me, is to push forward and create and do things at a certain level and a certain pace. He doesn't seem to have that. I mean, he can slow a game down, he can put his foot on the ball, and he can play. He does do that sometimes, but it's not his natural instinct. Do you understand what I'm saying? He doesn't want to do it. And also, off the ball, not great. He works his ass off, he's dogged, but he's not physical. He can't push a man off the ball. He's not really a great tackler. He's positionally, he's a little bit off it at times. And that's difficult with someone like Casemiro, who obviously has the experience and the scope to play as a defensive midfielder, but he's 33 years old now. He never had the legs anyway to cover a lot of ground, like to offer what Ruben Amorim demands basically in the middle of the park. Like, I don't think Casemiro, well, he can't do it. We've seen it a million times before. So then it's like you have to almost be the legs for Casemiro in the middle, and that's how Bruno gets dragged about even more. That's why it doesn't work. So the middle of the park is just not going to work unless we bring someone in. And Carlos Belieber. Now I'm a believer. Do, do, do. Not a trace. Do, 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 do. No doubt in my mind. Boo, boo, boo. I'm in love. Ooh. Carlos Belieber. Carlos Belieber. I need to figure out the lyrics for that. But that needs to happen in the Stretford end. Not only because it's an incredible song and we made it on this channel, unless Brighton fans sing it. I don't know if they do or not. But if they do, then apologies, Brighton fans. We're going to take your chant. But not only that, we need that guy in the middle of the park. Desperately. Athleticism, strength, pace to drive with the ball. Can play through the lines. Great ball progressor. And what more could you possibly want? He is the next Casado off the conveyor belt with Brighton. Please, please, please bring that guy in. Because if you do, then you give yourself a lot more of a fighting chance in the midfield because he's that good. Genuinely. He's really, really good. So midfield, we'll see. Dorgu was spoken about. Really exciting pre-season. Seems like he's starting to adapt now. Massive season ahead for him. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we get into the forward three. Before we get into the forward three, back to the comment section. Get your comments in. Opinions, opinions, opinions. We need them in the section. So speak to me, people. Leechers are oh, sorry, I already read that out. Apologies. Sam saying, join us after the game for a review with me and Shreays. Yeah, we will be live post-match analysis as always, giving our full depth as to what's just happened on the pitch, individuals we was impressed with, where we can improve, thoughts going into the next game against Arsenal. Sam and Shreays will be live on this channel straight after the game, so do not miss that and join them for it. It'd be nice to see all you guys in there. Dan saying, if you get a chance to exchange Onana for De Gea, would you do that? Yep, spoke about that at the start of the show. Would absolutely do that, 1,000,000%. I'd swap Onana for, think of any ornament, gnome, stop sign, anything. I would swap for Onana. Ali, who is a real red ultra and a legend at that as well, saying, late to the party, how much of this team you reckon is going to be in the line to start next week? That's a very good question. Shreays is saying his nan. Yeah, his nan's still available on a free if anyone wants to go and get that. So how much of this team will start? I'll tell you now. In my opinion, let me just get some of this. Got to get that coffee in. I'm not even eating yet. And by the way, I don't know if anyone cares, but I'm going golf for the first time today. I don't know if we've got any fellow golfers in the chat. If I drop numbers off by saying that, the comments. I got myself a little golf hat today. I've got myself some golf balls somewhere. I don't know. Not outside. I got myself a little glove, which I used to absolutely. I don't know. Terror is the right word, but when I see people wearing this glove, I used to just do like the Michael Jackson noise. You say hee hee, but actually, when you get into golf, it's one, therapeutic. Two, it's fucking hard. I promise you, it's solid. If you've never been before, really, really hard, and it humbles you. But it's peaceful as well. You know, you need a bit of a mental break. You're busy on this channel, busy because I work in social media as well. Your head gets filled with screens and fucking content and engagement and loads of other things going on. To go to a golf course or a driving range and just smack some with your mates, I think, yeah. So I don't know why I got into that or why I said that, but why did I say it? I don't know. Anyway, sorry, back into the team. So who will be in this starting lineup? So I think Lenny Yoro, Harry Maguire, Ahmad, Bruno, Dorgu, and Bumo, Cunha. But then I don't think at the start of the season, they're not going to put... I don't think they'll put Sesko in to start. I think he'll come off the bench. So you might see, again, a fluid front three against Arsenal. You might see Mbumo, Mount and Cunha. Or Mbumo, Bruno and Cunha. And then put, I don't know, Kobe and Ugarte in the midfield, for example. But Bruno will definitely play. Cunha and Mbumo will definitely play. So the positions out for grab. Left-sided centre-half, goalkeeper, I think. But it'll be Altai. Oh, no, it'll be Onana, sorry. Onana will start. So left side centre half, midfield, and then one of the attacking positions I think will change. In my opinion, I think that's kind of how it'll go. So much more to go through. I've not even gone through like the front three yet of fucking expectations and Fiorentina as a team, the quotes from Ruben Amorim. So I'm going to have to fly through some of this stuff. Apologies. It's because I'm reading out so many comments, but I don't want to miss out any. Mount could start in that game against Arsenal. Yeah, exactly. We've got 50 likes on the video. Thank you very much. Please do. If we get 100 likes, I'll do something crazy. I don't know what, but try to think. I'll tell you what, if we get 100 likes, I'll do a shot of one of them, of whiskey. And it's 12:20. So, there you go. Target's been set. Let's see if we do it. Front three. The Mbumo, for me, in the last game, didn't seem like he had full fitness today. Because obviously, I don't know the situation with Brentford. Did he go back late? Or Brentford went back late and then he wasn't training properly because obviously he knew he was going to United, or he was waiting for the deal to happen. So he's a little bit behind in terms of preparation for preseason. I think you'll see a much different Mbumo in this game. And also, you already saw the qualities that he has anyway. His first touch, the way he plays the intent in his passes, the runs in behind, just a positionally aware kind of player. Do you know what I mean? So you saw the qualities there. I think you'll see an improvement today. Striker, probably Mateus Cunha's going to drift in there at times, and Mbumo drift in there. Like I said, those kind of last line runs. Cunha dropping deep, players advancing, wing backs pushing forward. Very, very fluid. Mason Mount, I really like on that left-hand side. I think him and Dorga in particular have a good relationship. Think about where his goal came from in the last game. Very similar to Athletic Club in the Europa League, wasn't it? The kind of turn and spin, finish in the bottom right-hand corner. So I think Mason Mount, I think he's going to be an important player if he stays fit. I keep saying that. And I think Cunha, when he plays there, from a tactical standpoint, is going to be our most important signing. I think I'm not saying he's better than Mbumo, better than Sesko or whatever. As it stands right now, out of the three, I think Cunha, for me, brings more significance tactically to the team than the others. But I love all three of them. I think they're very exciting players. And I think them three, if they can get clicking and link up, you have Benjamin Sesko, one of the most exciting young prospects in Europe. 6'5", rapid, amazing in the air, got an absolute rocket of a shot. That's a problem in itself for Premier League centre-backs. Not to think, oh shit, you've got Brian Mbumo alongside him, who's the closest thing you're going to get statistically to Mo Salah. And I'm not just talking about goals and assists. And people might hate that comparison because he's a Liverpool player. But I'm talking like from an output, what he does on the pitch, very, very close to Mo Salah. I'm telling you, go look at it if you haven't seen the numbers. Who got 27 goal involvements last season, and he's just heading into his prime. And then Cunha, who, personality-wise, character is perfect for Manchester United for me. Just got that Cantona-esque kind of vibe to him. I already mentioned the tactical fit, the output, his ability to score crazy good goals. Some of the goals he scored against Fulham last season was just mental. And then he got 21 goal involvements last season as well. So there is a huge shift in the paradigm in the forward three this season, and if that clicks, we'll be scoring a lot of goals. Last season we scored 44 goals. 44 goals as a team. You know how many goals Liverpool scored? About 89. So we need to improve. We need to start getting to that 60 mark, and I think with those players, I think that'll definitely happen. So yeah. In terms of expectations for this game, should we have played a stronger team? Should we have gone with more experienced players considering we're playing Arsenal next? That's a question I'll throw to you guys. I think preparation for Arsenal, is that what we're going to see? Potentially. I don't know. I mentioned about the Everton game, we struggled physically. I don't think we're going to see that with Fiorentina necessarily. But again, I don't watch Fiorentina week in, week out, so I don't know if what kind of team they are tactically. I don't know if they're a team who likes to keep the ball or counter-attack. Again, it's still friendly, but you want to set your stand out for when you play Arsenal. You want to send a message and put it out there. You want to batter Fiorentina today. Everything's clicking, confident, unveil the player on the pitch, and you're like, right, sound. And go forward into the game with all the confidence and momentum that you need. But I haven't watched Fiorentina before. In terms of reflection on pre-season as well as like a whole, I've enjoyed it, to be honest with you. The Everton game left a bit of a skid mark on the ball for me, personally, just because there was still certain traits in that game that I saw from last season where I'm like, I was a little bit like, we saw that. And those habits are going to creep in this season as well, unless we fill out those positions. So, yes, still some concerns there. We're definitely not finished the article by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it will be different from last season. There's no doubt about that. Just the way we're pressing from the front, the way we're shifting the ball, the fluid rotations on either side. Yeah, I've been a fan of it as a whole. What do you guys think? Pre-season, does that fill you with confidence? Not only just the signings that we've made, but does that fill you with confidence to say, right, I think we're definitely going to be pushing back towards top 10, 8, 6? Don't know what you think. I've enjoyed preseason. I think I've liked. It's definitely an improvement. That's one thing. You can't say, oh, well, we're a full thing. We're doing this now. Attack, midfield, and defense are spot on. But you can look at it and you can say there's genuine improvement there. And if that keeps going like that, then we're on our mission. Their mission is set out 2028 to win the Premier League. Sounds absolutely crazy. But let me tell you now, let me tell you something, brother. If they sign Belibra and Donnarumma, you're pushing up there. You're pushing up there. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, was happy with pre-season. Just a little section on Fiorentina before I get into Ruben Amorim's comments. Key players for them, obviously David De Gea since moving there has been really good, saving penalties, making some incredible saves in general. Really happy he's doing well there and be happy to see him back at Old Trafford today. There was a lot of noise during the summer about Moises Ken, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't know if he's actually moved or not. I need to check Fiorentina's team actually before I continue, because otherwise I'm going to look like an absolute donkey, aren't I? Fiorentina. Let's see if they put the lineup out. Let me get it. Man United versus Fiorentina. Hopefully the lineups are on here. Yeah, there we go. De Gea, Pongracic, Camuso, Ranieri, Gossens, we all remember him. He's an old school player for Atalanta, German wing-back. Som, Goodmanson, Dodo, the Brazilian wing-back as well. I recognise him. Edin Dzeko up top, and Moises Kean. So two big boys. You've got a physical threat that you're dealing with there. That's who's starting for them. I think Moises Kean scored 19 goals last season and was linked to Manchester United. I mean, I think it was Carl Anker who did an article on The Athletic. It was like, if you're shopping for strikers, it could be someone potentially that you look at. And he offers quite a lot. But I always think if they didn't make it in the Premier League and now they're making it in the Italian League, I don't want to repeat that move. You know what I'm saying? And Edin Dzeko I mentioned as well, an old enemy, obviously played for Man City, scored against us before. But, I mean, he's got to be knocking 65 now, hasn't he, Edin Dzeko? I feel like he's been about for fucking years. I actually don't know how old he is, but he's got to be at least pushing 38, 39, something. Let's have a look. That's just my guess. He is 39 years old, starting up top. So, he is just a plank of wood up top, basically. If you can't deal with a 39-year-old Edin Dzeko, I don't know what to tell you. Really don't know what to tell you. In pre-season so far, Fiorentina, they've won 2, lost 1, and drawn 1. But the first 2 games were against pub teams, basically. Teams I've never heard of before. And then they lost to Leicester, and they drawn with another, I think they drawn with Nottingham Forest as well. So, yeah. And some quick stats and facts, just because we are a well-rounded channel here. Anderson went on loan, so this is a link between the two clubs, Manchester United. He went on loan in 2013, I believe, to Fiorentina. Giuseppe Rossi played for Fiorentina as well. Sofian Amrabat, the Gattuso for one game in the FA Cup final, played for Fiorentina. And, of course, David De Gea. They have all played for both Manchester United and Fiorentina. And, by the way, Fiorentina finished above AC Milan and Lazio last season. They finished 6th. In the Italian league. So they're not no scrubs. They're not no team who's just going to lie down and, it'd be a good competition. I expected better competition, a better tune-up match, let's say, for example. But, hey, it is what it is. De Gea's coming back. He's going to have his warm reception, and I'm happy for that. So let's see what Ruben Amorim is saying before the game, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Some quotes from Amorim. Wearing the new gear, that Terrace merch, which I absolutely love, by the way. Where are the quotes at? Have we got any from the manager? Speaking on Sesko. Okay, now we're talking. Let's see what he's saying. De Gea's back, waving to the crowd, hugging Ruben Amorim. Love that. Love to see it. Oh, it puts a smile on my face, man. So happy for him. Never have a bad word to say about David De Gea. Ever. Ruben Amorim on David De Gea's return to Old Trafford. It's a great goalkeeper. Everybody loves the guy here. I could feel that, so it's always a good time to return home. And I think that he feels that this is his home, and he will see that our fans are really supportive. But then when the game starts, he'll be on the other side and the opponent, so let's hope that. On Benjamin Sesko, Ruben Amorim said he has the characteristics that we need. Dan is a player that, with all the information that we have, we need to stop the guy from working. It's not the opposite, so that is also important. I don't understand that. Does anyone understand that quote, or have I just read it wrong? He has the characteristics that we needed. I understand that. Dan is a player that, with all the information that we have, we need to stop the guy from working. It's not the opposite. So, is my brain just reading that wrong? Who the fuck is Dan? Benjamin Sesko. There's no Dan in that name. Unless he's already got a nickname for him. I don't know. Daniel's son? No idea. He's really young. He's good in the air. He's good running the channels. He's good on the ball. So I think he has great potential. I think he could prove a lot. And for sure, he's going to feel at home in our club. He's the right character to be in this group. So we're really, really happy to have him. He has the characteristics we needed and is a player that, with all the information that we have, we need to stop the guy from working. It's not the opposite. All right, so it's a different quote. Some of these quotes that people put out, like, do you fucking listen when you put the quotes out? He's going to notice in the first training session that he's arrived in the right place. I like that. That's very interesting. Any other details before we move on? No, that's it for now. Just on the quotes. But I like that. That one of those quotes I was reading then, I was like, I feel like my brain's fucking scrambled trying to read it. Got to go. Good to see you again, Nick, and good luck with the goal. Thank you very much, Steph. Appreciate you tuning in. I don't know if you've left already, but yeah, we look fitter and better team chemistry. Remember watching Batistuta bag an absolute peach for Fiorentina against us at Old T years back. I am of the age of, I'm 30 now, but I don't remember Batistuta really back in the day. I would have been probably 5 years old or something, maybe. So I don't really remember that, but I appreciate that he was a fucking incredible player. And one last thing I'll say about Fiorentina as well before we get into the predictions is they had arguably top 5 kits ever. That 7-Up one, the purple one back in the 90s. Hands down, one of the greatest kits of all time. Top 10, let's say. I don't want to go too far on it. But yeah, if there's anything that you want to go by, that kit, elite. Absolutely elite. So, with that being said, people, what are we saying? What are we talking about for the predictions? 4 things. Sorry, I'm just sending a message. 4 things that's going to happen in this game. Get them in, and I'll read them all out. Sorry, I'm just 2 seconds. Right, sorry, I had to send that message. Yeah, very quickly, predictions, 4 things that's going to happen in this game. Go. I would say, I agree with Shreays. Cunha scores in his first game at Old Trafford. I think David De Gea makes some incredible saves. I think that's inevitable. What else? Yellow cards are so difficult in preseason. They don't really happen, do they? So it's difficult to think. I think Mason Mount might get a goal or an assist. I'll chuck that out there. Bayern Day makes a mistake. But make Shreays, we're just thinking alike here. Go with what Shreays has put in the chat. That is what I'm going to go with, okay? So I will leave you wonderful human beings to go and watch the game. I think it's already kicked off now. I forgot what time it kicks off, to be honest with you. Sorry, let me double check. Let me have a look. Yeah. Oh, 12:45 it kicks off. My apologies. Kicks off in 10 minutes, so you've got time to kind of sit down, eat your popcorn, eat your food, just grind whatever you're doing. I'm going to miss this game because I'm going to book this golf course. I didn't realise it was on the same day that United were playing, and I'm an idiot. But obviously I wanted to do the pre-match kind of build-up and discuss it because I'm really, really excited. I'm going to watch it on my phone on the way to the golf course, so I'll get as much analysis as I can. But remember, Shreays and Sam are going to be live straight after the game, so come and tune in, get your opinions in. We always interact with everyone because we love the analysis, so please do come and join us. It'd be nice to see as many in the chat that is at the moment on the post-match as well. And the post-match is usually better because you've got a bit more of a reaction, a bit more excitement. So, yeah, make sure you guys tune into that. We've had 5,000 views on this pre-match build-up, which is fucking incredible. So thank you so much to everyone. Go and enjoy the game. We'll see you after it. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video for us, and follow us on social media, because this channel is blowing up, ladies and gentlemen. See yous in the next one. To the